Hi, my name's Sam Price. I've been trading markets for over 15 years and I've been doing technical analysis for well over 10. And I want to show you a macro technical analysis look at what's happening to BTC. We're also going to look at the total market cap of all of the cryptocurrencies, the total market cap of all of the altcoins, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're going to look at Bitcoin dominance, US Tether dominance. We're also going to be looking at the DXY. We'll take a look at gold, the S&P futures, the NASDAQ, and give you kind of a little big picture of what's happening in the world today in the financial section with all these different assets combined. Also going to show you one at the end that's going to show you kind of what's happening to the altcoin market. And yeah, let's dive in. Let's have some fun. Let's break it down. Let's first start with Bitcoin. And the first thing I'm going to look at is Bitcoin on the weekly chart. I even like the 2-week chart. The 2-week is a go-to chart of mine. I've been using the 2-week for a long, long time. If you look here, Bitcoin really pump, came up. And then whenever two candles basically have basically close and open, that creates a pretty strong support section. Like right there, that was strong support on the 2-week right there at 54,955. You can see right here when these two candles came together at 68.6. And here we are again on the 2-week chart, forming a weekly support at about $93,600, $93,700 area. When we zoom into the weekly, we can see that that support is also holding on the weekly very nicely at about 93,700. Forgive me there, 93.7. And then up here, 97.2 is the big area that I keep going over and talking about every day. And you'll hear me mention, as long as we close a weekly candle above 93.7, 93.8 here, I was going to be okay, great. And that's a bullish engulfing candle on the weekly. But I also said, hey, it would be great if we could close the weekly above 97.2. If we do both of those things, and right now we're at 98,200, showing a huge move, showing that we're well above the $98,200 level. So right now, if this weekly candle closes as such, it's a bullish close for Bitcoin. It's very good news. It shows that there's more coming for BTC. The 3-day chart's in a bull flag, as far as I'm concerned, that just reset back down to the 21-day moving average, which is a known pump. And if you just come out of this slight, move out of the flag here, out of the bull flag, it says we're going somewhere up to $115,000, $114,880. If you take the bigger measured move, which to me is even longer, right, which we would take basically this whole length of this entire pole here, that suggests an even larger move for Bitcoin up to $151,000 somewhere by March. This would be an explosive move. Everyone thinks that this bull run is going to extend all the way until October of next year, but it looks like we're going to have we could have an explosive top here into March, and then there could be some type of pullback, and then, like we always do, March and April pullback, and, March, April, May, usually somewhere between April and May, we start the pullback. May, it's solidified, and then we go through a slumpy summer, and then we pump throughout the fall. That could happen again. But I would be looking to take some profits when we start to get up into the $130,000, $140,000 region for the altcoins. So I like what I'm seeing here. Big moves for Bitcoin, hanging above 98,200. Very, very strong. This is a very, very good sign that Bitcoin is going to continue to go to the upside. The 3-day chart looks very, very good. I expect when we come here next week that our 3-day chart, we'll have a couple more 3-day candles. And we'll be somewhere here, even maybe cracking the all-time high for Bitcoin when we're here next week doing this analysis on the 10th of January. So that's your macro analysis for Bitcoin. I like what I'm seeing, and it's all starting to fall into place for BTC. The bear scenario, though, is possible. What if we make a shoulder ahead, and what if this makes a right shoulder? What if we don't get back above 100,000 right there and we get rejected and we roll over? That could happen. I'm open-minded to it. I'll take you step by step. If you watch my live stream every single day, Monday through Friday, you won't miss a beat, and this won't take you by surprise, and you won't have to wait all the way until next week. However, if you want to just kind of see the week to week, it's really good to tune in every single Friday. Let's take a look at the total market cap in all of cryptocurrency and see what's happening. Again, I'm not a perma bull or a perma bear. I'm just someone that looks at both scenarios and sees the highest probability and takes advantage of those scenarios. We take a look at the weekly on the total market cap, and a huge pump too there. Like, we came right back, and you can see we wicked back to previous resistance. We almost front ran it. Like, people didn't wait for it to get that low. What I do see, though, is we're still a little away for the 21-day moving average on the weekly, but it suggests that we could get a pump, possibly get some sideways price action for the total market cap. And what this is good is you want to see this because it means that money will flow in, but then money will leave Bitcoin and go into the altcoins, and Bitcoin will go sideways and then make this big consolidation a couple more weeks. And it really says that, wow, we could have a monster pump into May or June, right? So this is suggesting a little consolidation on the total market cap, and a huge move could be coming. If you zoom out, though, again, it's that same idea that the 3-day chart is starting to flag out, and this pump is starting right here. And this is the beginning. So we may not get that sideways. We may just continue to pump. And the sideways price action may not come until we get to about $4.7 trillion. And that tells me that we are about to get a massive pump in the month of January into February for this total market cap. So again, two scenarios arise: a sideways move, upward trending flag, or just a boom. And the boom looks more likely, as we definitely broke out here to the upside on the 3-day chart. I would watch this 3-day chart. Lack of bearish momentum in the MACD. RSI looking bullish. Everything just looking like it's about to take off here on the total market cap. This is huge. I could see a monster move here for the total market cap in all of cryptocurrency. We take a look at total 3, which is the altcoins. And as we said before, I said the altcoins have to bounce here. I said if they don't bounce, we're in trouble. I put out this green line, said this is the major resistance. I said the alts have to get a bounce. They did off that wick, the monster move. I said, can they get this move on out? And again, same scenario. It could be sideways, but it could just be a huge pump right out this flag, and the altcoins just get sent. It looks more likely we're about to get the altcoins getting sent. It is alt season beginning. You can tell by what we're about to show you now. Things are starting to get a pretty good move here for the alts. So I would hold on to your alts. That last bounce was probably the last chance to buy altcoins before this massive pump. So I would hold on to your altcoins, and I'm ready to go. I'm heavily invested in alts, and a big move looks like it's coming for total 3. It could come up here and go sideways. You know, if you get a pullback around there, I wouldn't be too stressed at 1.16. But we're back above $1 trillion on the altcoin market cap. That's huge. And I just see a bigger move to $1.73 trillion, almost a double up, almost a whole $1 trillion coming in to the altcoins. So that looks juicy to me. I like what I'm seeing. With that, we like to look at Bitcoin dominance, because if Bitcoin dominance is going to start falling, it's good for the altcoins. When we look at it on the 3-day chart, you can see this kind of shoulder, head right shoulder. You can see this low, this high, this low, this lower high, making a lower low. I expect this to dump to the 200 MA on the 3-day chart. I expect the 3-day to let go and to watch Bitcoin dominance continue to fall here. This is going to be huge. Cardano ripping back above $1. We're seeing AVAX, all the big boys taking control. XRP looking like a move is coming. And there's just so much opportunity in the altcoins, from Virtuals Protocol to XRP to memes to SWI to Solana. It's endless. So why would you want to be, why? It doesn't even make sense that Bitcoin could have dominance. Even Atom back above 7 today, pumping. Every altcoin really getting the move. We're getting a nice pump here in almost every altcoin in the market. I really like what I'm seeing. So Bitcoin dominance giving it up, and I expect a continuation of this further to the downside. When I come back next week on the 10th, I see this somewhere lower than this, somewhere in here, and on the way to my red line, on the way to the 3-day 200 MA for Bitcoin dominance. Let's take a look at Tether dominance. And we're going to take a look and see what's happening here. Tether dominance in a bear flag, looking like it may go further to the downside. There's a cup with a handle, an inverse cup and handle, and we see this wanting to move down. I'll get rid of that little scribble there. It's a little messy there. But I see this bear flag dumping, and we talked about this the last time I went over it. This is starting to make a massive move down. The shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. Tether dominance never had a chance. Nobody wants to be holding their tether right now. A massive dump coming for Tether dominance to 2.4%. And wow, it looks like Tether's about to take a bit of a tumble down to 2.38%. Not the price of Tether, don't get to, but just Tether dominance. So, and that's huge. When Bitcoin dominance and Tether dominance are falling, that means people are selling their Bitcoin for altcoins, or just getting more into altcoins than Bitcoin. It's a big deal, everybody. It shows altcoin season is here and full. I don't say this randomly. I don't throw altcoin season out there like, average people, this and that. It's a big deal to me. Altcoin season is here. I see a massive pump coming for the next month, month and a half. It just all the signs are pointing for the move. I'd like to take a look at gold just to kind of see what's happening in the regular markets. And honestly, we'd like to see altcoin season. On top of altcoin season, you'd like to see the DXY flopping a little bit. That usually just could also help risk on assets. All right, unemployment was good, which also stresses the fact that, they're not going to definitely raise rates. And we could be closer to maybe a possible rate cut. Right now, it's not amazing, but we'll look at that, later on. But gold looks like it's going to pump. The 3-day chart looks beautiful, and I see gold headed back to that high at 2,800, and then the bigger move for gold is to $3,400 somewhere into May. So I see gold also pumping with this market, and gold looking very, very strong right now on the 3-day chart. I'm going to take a look at the DXY, which is the dollar, the US dollar index. That is pumping. Interesting, right? To see that get a monster move there on the 3-day. I talked about that possibly moving, and look at it pump. I mean, Bitcoin struggled a little bit, but this is moving with Donald Trump. I mean, he wants there to be a strong dollar, and he wants there to be a strong Bitcoin. Both of those can happen in the Donald Trump administration. So that's what you're seeing. Strong dollar, strong Bitcoin. The dollar pumping without, this is actually pretty awesome. However, away from the 21, looks like we could get a bit of a pullback. The daily also showing signs of a bearish divergence there. But again, don't count the DXY out. It's gaining momentum with Donald Trump getting back into office. Hopefully it can be more fiscally somewhat responsible over time. And we can begin to kind of get back our reserves. Talk about a reserve is strength of a dollar. Isn't that funny? Talk about a Bitcoin reserve strengthens the dollar. Because if you have a Bitcoin reserve, we get rid of debt. We get rid of debt. We start borrowing. We stop borrowing. We don't print so much. We don't print so much. We don't devalue the currency, right? So this is important. This is pretty interesting. This could be a new dynamic that we're seeing here with this administration. So I wouldn't count the dollar out. Looks like the DXY may be moving up with Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin reserve may actually be a positive thing for Bitcoin and the dollar. If you think about it, it's logical. It makes sense. Let's take a look at the S&P futures. All right. Everyone got really, really bearish. We did flop a little bit. We didn't hit the stop loss. We did dump. Things were pumping beautifully. Looked like we could make a huge move. We did not hit the stop, though. And you could say, we stayed inside of like a bigger channel. I feel like we lost the channel, but there's a chance we get back inside. So let's take a look at what's happening on the S&P. Let's kind of rework it. I did take the week off there. I mean, I didn't take any time off of the live stream, but I didn't do this macro analysis video. I had all sorts of family over, and I wanted to leave the screen. But I'm back at it again. That's the one thing I did take off, and I apologize. But look at this swing up and swing down. That is bearish div. It did start to play out. However, at the way they're printing money, all right? And funny, but the dollar going up in value is not, but even then, the dollar can go up in value, but they can still print the money. Like, you know what I mean? They can still put more money in circulation. I still see there is going to be a bounce here for the S&P. Call me nuts, but I'm not bearish. I see a bounce here, and I see the S&P going to all-time highs. I really do. I see a bigger move coming for the S&P, only a matter of time. It looks likely to me. So when we're here next week on the 10th, it makes sense to me that Bitcoin will have bounced up a little bit. The S&P will have bounced up a little bit. Bitcoin as well, right? But the S&P will have bounced up a little bit, and you'll be starting to fill out this flag and headed further up to 7,000. And there's a bigger move coming for the S&P. We look at the DX. We look at the. Now I'm going to take a look at the NQ, the NASDAQ E-mini futures. Same thing here. However, the good thing about this one is it never breached. It just came down to retest the top of this bigger channel. So if we delete the older work too there, you can see like we came and we just retested. And I see a similar thing happening here like as that flag on total 3, the market cap of the altcoins, Technically, in a way, altcoins and the S&P are somewhat correlated. They're the fun companies, right, that are tech related, and altcoins are starting to become more and more tech related than anything. I see this flag breaking up. I see the NASDAQ headed further, and the NASDAQ and the S&P, I see them both pumping. I see the NASDAQ headed further to 25,000. So I see all these fun different stocks that are more entertaining, getting the bigger pumps in the S&P and the NASDAQ, kind of moving with these altcoins and risk on assets. And this looks beautiful to me. As long as they continue to cut rates, things look good. And as long as they don't add to the rate, I'm in. This, this to me really didn't leave the structure. I see this still inside and breaking to the upside. So the NASDAQ still looks good to me. I would enter the NASDAQ right there with a stop. Like even below, like right here. And I'd firmly, with a firm conviction that we're going to hit that target without this, before we hit that stop loss. Very bullish on the NASDAQ right now. Right. And I'm calling for a continuation move there on the NASDAQ. So that kind of is that's the macro technical analysis. And things are looking really, really good. I like what we're seeing here for Bitcoin, for the S&P, and for all these risk-on assets. It's looking really, really beautiful. Last thing I want to look at is SOLBTC. As long as that stays intact, we know that SOL's intact for a pump. So we want to kind of see what's happening here. SOL Bitcoin. And it kind of fell out of the channel, but I still see it in this now. And it's like a giant head and shoulder pattern. And they continue to battle, but over time, SOL has gained dominance. And right now, this is about to be SOL's turn. Maybe we get this little move, but I see SOL gaining that dominance. Look for SOL Bitcoin to bounce, retest that area. That area is going to be 281186. I'm telling you right now, these are going to be some of the last chances to get SOLBTC before SOL beats up on Bitcoin, and we get one of those major altcoin runs. And we get a nice pump back to the upside here. So I'm watching SOL Bitcoin. Once it breaks there, retest, and boom. But that consolidation is nice. It bounced off the 3-day 200 MA. A very bullish sign for SOLBTC. You can see this cup and handle, as big and funky as it is, it's on its way. I see SOL Bitcoin ripping. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. That's your top-down analysis for Bitcoin. Total 3, the NASDAQ, the DXY, the S&P, gold, and Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, and SOLBTC. I would like you to see these things from a bigger perspective so you can kind of get a grasp of what's happening, not get stuck in the day-to-day price action, and be able to see things from a bigger perspective. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Crypto is life.